Welcome. Do you accept God as your creator?
Hey, Darth, how are you?
I do be fine, my friend. What would you like to say?
So I'm a former atheist now turned Christian, but then now, as I'm doing more, just Bible study on my own, I feel and I guess I'll ask you, do you believe that the Bible is inerrant, like it has no flaws?
Yes.
So I feel like I've as I've been doing my reading, I feel like I have found flaws.
Where is it?
Okay, so anytime I have investigated any alleged Bible contradictions and I survey what commentators and theologians have said about these passages, as well as investigating what lay researchers who have done a lot more work than I have, and I examine the point and counterpoint, it turns out that there's no actual contradictions.
Yeah, well, I've heard people try to explain, and do you mind if I give you a specific one? Because
No,
I've
no.
yeah.
Well, I don't mind you giving one.
Yeah.
Got to switch my headset. Just give me a second.
Darth, that
Yeah,
did
you can give it momentarily,
Yeah.
but the point is this: sometimes these things require some investigation, and that's
Well,
why some atheists use them
well,
as gotchas. Okay, but go ahead.
well, this is not a gotcha. I'm an evangelical Christian, and this is
No, I'm
all.
not suggesting that you're giving a gotcha, but I'm just trying to say is I had somebody present to me a Bible contradiction. I go, oh, okay, I don't know how to answer you, and then I investigated it the next day, and I came up with a solution. And when I presented to him, he just ignored it.
Oh, how
Website Darth. There's a website Darth that talks about all these alleged biblical contradictions. I can send it to you also, Lawson, after this.
Yeah. I think
The
we're probably thinking of the same website. It's where it refutes all of the alleged Bible contradictions. But go
Yes,
ahead,
yes,
Lawson.
yeah,
Okay, so this is
absolutely.
the one that, and I was actually just reading my Bible today, and I came
Lawson,
across
get
the.
closer to your microphone, please.
Yeah, hey, can you hear me good now?
Yeah, that's a little better. Go ahead.
What about, is this better now?
Yep.
All right. So in Mark 2, it tells a story about how Jesus and his disciples were going to get grain, and Jesus recounts a story of how when King David went to go get bread from the high priest. And in Mark 2, it claims that that high priest was Abiathar. But when you read the actual story in 1 Samuel 21, it says that it's Ahimelech.
Okay, excellent point. Now, are you aware of the fact that there were situations where there was more than one high priest, where one high priest would be in retirement, but there would still be called the high priest?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely aware of that because during Jesus' time,
Yeah,
the two sons of Levi's were high priests.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes individuals are referred to by more than one name. Now, that particular passage I haven't investigated yet,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean. I mean, imagine we said so and so went to New York City. And the person says, "Well, there's another account that says they went to the Big Apple." That's a contradiction. Now, I'm not giving you the solution that the person had more than one name or a compound name, right? But we do know that there were situations where somebody was the high priest and would go into retirement, but they were still reckoned. Look, we call George W. Bush President Bush. We call Bill Clinton President Clinton. Okay, they're still given the honorific title that they had, and it is known in biblical history that there were times when a high priest would step down from their official duties, but they would be like kind of like like they have in certain institutions, a president emeritus in certain universities,
Mm-hmm.
where they're not the acting president, but they're kind of a non-active president, and they're given the title emeritus. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is not a contradiction.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, the only issue with that is when you go on to read in Second Samuel, it says that Abiathar is Ahimelech's son, but then in First Chronicles it says that Ahimelech is Abiathar's son. And so you have
I would have to do some studying and investigate. I could not give you an answer off the top of my head. But today, with the power of search engines, okay, to within seconds to find out people who have actually done the investigation and done papers on this, the answer is not that far away. But you know what's interesting? I had an atheist tell me that Josiah. It says that Josiah was killed on the battlefield. But then in another passage, it says that he died in Jerusalem. And they said, which was it? Where did he die? Well, when I investigated the passage, the underlying Hebrew word can convey that one is mortally wounded, or to say they are slain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you familiar with the Kennedy assassination?
A little bit. Not too much.
Okay. Did Lee Harvey Oswald assassinate John F. Kennedy in Dealey Plaza?
I mean, I assume that's correct. I don't know the exact details, but sure.
Okay, so we're just assuming, okay, that we're not going after conspiracy theories. Did John Wilkes Booth assassinate Lincoln in Ford's Theater?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll just sit there and say that's a contradiction because both men died in different locations.
Yeah, well,
you see how silly that is?
Well, but and the only reason I would say that this is not silly is because I have done a lot of research on this passage, and even one of the Bible institutes that put out this said that they believe that the writer of First Chronicles and Samuel got it wrong. Another one said.
So what I would like you to do is provide me with the scripture passages.
Yeah, I'm fine.
And the links to what you're doing, and I will investigate that in the next couple of days, and you can come back here and we can discuss it. Because I want to tell you something. I've had people, and I'm not suggesting you're doing it, but I've had unbelievers throw alleged Bible contradictions, and when I investigate it, they just ignore it. So I had one prominent atheist on TikTok say that Josiah was slain on the battlefield, but it says that he died somewhere else. When it says that it's slain, it's referring to being mortally wounded. Okay? Now, when I spoke to the atheist, and I said, the underlying Hebrew can be referring to, when it says he was slain, it can mean that he was mortally wounded. Okay? And the idea, somebody can be mortally wounded on the battlefield in one location and still remain alive and die in a different location.
Yes, sir.
And when I presented him this solution, which is not special pleading or ad hoc, and it's quite reasonable, he simply ignored it. And nor would he take back his allegation that this was a contradiction. Because to say that somebody was slain on the battlefield, it doesn't always mean that they immediately died, okay? Mm-hmm. It can mean that they were mortally wounded, that they never recovered from, then they died from that mortal wounding. Just like if we said that Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated Kennedy in Dealey Plaza. Kennedy's heart still had a heartbeat when he went to Parkland Hospital. Abraham Lincoln was still alive and breathing when he was moved like a block away to a bedroom in a residence. So these contradictions are not as clear as these people want. These people are looking for contradictions.
Yeah, and I hope you know that that's not at all what I'm doing. I am a Christian. I do believe in the God of the Bible. But this is just something I came across today, and I've clicked on at least 7 different sources and read 2 of my commentaries, one from the Moody Bible Institute. And it seems like none of them really agree on one thing. Like I said,
and also you said you did that today. You just did that today, right?
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not saying.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
I cannot answer all alleged contradictions off the top of my head. I have to go back, look at the passage, see what other commentators say, and make an evaluation. So send me a DM with the pertinent information and the links to what the articles that you're referring to, and in a day or two, I'll be glad to give you my opine on my answer.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I'm not saying this is a contradiction. This is just something I
Oh,
came
I
up
know
with.
you're not. I know you're not. But I'm going to tell you, in all my time as a Christian, when I've investigated alleged Bible contradiction, I haven't found one of them that sticks.
Yeah. Well,
It just so
Pretty
happens,
weak.
if we use their same standard, we would find contradictions all throughout human history and even American history. Okay, so there were people who said the Titanic split in half, and the other people said it didn't. Does that mean the Titanic didn't sink?
no, sir.
Yeah, and they were giving testimony from their perspective, right? So sometimes there are answers that are nuanced that show that it's not a contradiction, that something can seem to be a contradiction when it is looked upon in a very simplified way rather than investigating. Okay?
Yeah, awesome. Hey, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll send you a DM and maybe we can chit chat. Yeah, I'm all for learning. I'm asking another dear pastor of mine to kind of get into this. I like to hear a lot of.
You see, the wonderful thing is there's a lot of lay researchers out there, Christians, who've already done the hard work on most of these alleged contradictions. You just have to take the time to dig up on Google or Bing their prior work. That you don't have to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and once again, like one of the things I came across is the claim was maybe Mark got it wrong, and that didn't really sit right with me.
If anybody says that, then immediately, from a Christian point of view, they're suspect.
Absolutely, because they're denying the inspiration
maybe,
of the scriptures. Yeah.
So the fact of the matter is, okay, so how about this? Suppose I said to you that, by the way, how old are you, Law?
Hey, I'm 20.
Okay, so you're 20. I'm 63. You remember Ronald Reagan?
No, I do not.
Okay, President Reagan rescued somebody when he was very young as a lifeguard. Did you know that?
I believe I have heard that story. I'm a
Yeah,
history
but
buff.
wait a minute. That's a contradiction because he wasn't president yet.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You see, I'm using their kind of tactics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. This is something that I've looked into. I think
Look,
Bart
there's a passage, and I don't remember the passage where it talks about so and so became a king when they were 20, and then another passage it said they became king when they were 42.
That's
Now,
Second King talking about King Josiah. Yeah, I know that.
Right, but the point is this: I can give you a quick and dirty explanation. I'm not saying I would ultimately remain and stand on this, but it could be the case that he became king, let's say through the death of his father, right? But he didn't actively serve as king until years later. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't start to effectively rule. So you see, this is not special pleading. It's these people are looking to find Bible contradictions. And whenever, I'm telling you, every alleged Bible contradiction that I've investigated, they all evaporate. And and if I can figure this out, why couldn't they?
Yeah.
Because they're not trying to exonerate the scriptures. They're trying to superficially find contradictions.
Yeah, awesome. What I'll do is I'll shoot you a DM with the passages in Mark 2 and 1 Samuel 21 and a couple in
and any other links that you have, and I'll be glad to discuss it with you in a day or two.
Awesome. Hey, I really appreciate it. Thank you for being cordial.
Oh, I appreciate you. Okay.
All right, you have a good night.
Okay. All right. If you're an intelligent unbeliever, we'd love to talk with you.
Also, like
Not
Darth,
too many. Yeah. So we did have an intelligent, mature-minded unbeliever come up tonight. That's a rare find. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.